The conversations with him have always been in depth, and his conversations flow to many directions. And that's where you come to know that Sahil is master of many, many different areas of expertise. Sahil, we are delighted once again, and thank you for joining us. Over to you, sir.
Great. Thank you so much, Kuldeep ji. Very, very nice to see you, although virtually this time. And of course, I think we have the next 15 minutes with all of us, and would love to see how is it that potentially I could add value to all of you. While I see only Bhuvnesh on video, this is just a request, and a very humble request to all of you. If you all can come on video, it'll be really, really nice. You guys have very beautiful faces. It doesn't matter whether you're sitting in the comfort of your home, or whether you have a virtual background, or whether you haven't had a shower. Aap subah se nahi nahaye hain, it's absolutely okay. It doesn't matter. No one's judging here. So come on video. It'll be nice to see you. It'll be nice to look at some beautiful faces rather than just look at a blank screen, whether it's on your mobile, whether you're sitting on your couch, whether you're walking across the house, whether you're having lassi or parathe, it doesn't matter. So just come on video. You can eat, drink, you can do whatever you want, but come on video. It'll be much better than looking at a black screen and talking to the screen. Someone else is having another session somewhere else. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna wait. We are 142 of us, and we have like 5, 7, 10 people on video. Let's wait for at least one big screen, everyone to be on video, and then we'll get started. Okay, while everyone comes in video, I have one promise to make, and I have one request from each one of you. The promise that I have to make is this. I am left with no choice, but Kuldeep ji has given such a nice introduction that I'm wondering who was he introducing. I thought there was another panelist who's come in and he was saying such beautiful words for that person. But I have to live up to that promise. And I need your support to live up to that promise, because alone, I will not be able to do it. And the promise is that we got to make this participative, because if I keep talking for the next 1 hour, trust me, you'll go to sleep in the next 2 minutes. So I'm going to keep short and you guys are going to talk more. And that's the way we're going to run with this. So let's very quickly hear from you on the chat. What is it that you guys are expecting from a session like this? It could be anything, right? Just go on the chat and tell me, what are you expecting from today's session? We're not going to move ahead till I don't get responses, right? So we have a choice. I can just stay here, or you guys can keep responding, and let's build from there. Okay, people take time to start, but I'm very happy we got the first point. Useful insights for pursuing MBA from top business schools. Okay, I'm assuming you guys are already with a top university, but that's great. Thank you, Sarthak. Anyone else? You guys have been forced to attend this session. Work culture. Okay. We will come to gain knowledge and the points to remember while recruitment process. Right path to move on. Aditya Dua says, how do you bring the best version of yourself? Brilliant. Okay. What else? What else? What else? Meg, what are you expecting? You're on your laptop. Why don't you unmute yourself, or you can fire in on the chat. Poonam, Bhuvnesh, you were the first guy on video on your mobile. Why don't you tell us, what are you expecting?
Hello, sir.
Hi. Call me Sahil. Sir and all is too outdated.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir. I'm expecting, sir, something new to learn about what is the connection between what is to be taught and what is required in the industry, and what are the parameters that bind the teaching and the industry parameters, so that the student is industry ready. And
Okay, super. Industry ready. Some tips on how to compete in today's challenging
yes, sir,
corporate era.
competitive environment.
Okay, current scenario in HR industry, challenges should be faced by an intern. All right, some good responses coming in. Abhishek, anything from your side?
Sir, to know the 2-day scenarios of industries.
Okay, super. Okay, guys, so what I'm going to do is, as I promised, we'll try and make this as interesting as possible. And Tanya writes a very nice comment saying, tell us more about the 3 W's: work, workplace, and workforce. Okay, super. So we'll touch upon all of this and a lot more. Maybe what I can do is possibly answer a couple of questions on expectations, and then come and we will start the session. Sarthak. I think Sarthak, useful insights on pursuing MBA. Number one, I think you guys should be extremely grateful that you are blessed to be in a world where you have access to higher education. There are a lot of people out there who want to do an MBA and are unable to do it. So I think you're going in position to be an attitude of gratitude, to be grateful that whether it's your parents or anybody else or the larger forces, that you've got an opportunity to do an MBA. Second is a lot of what will be taught to you and a lot of what you will actually do in the corporate world may be very different, right? While many universities are working very hard to bridge the gap between industry and academia, I think there are 3 parts to your success. First part to your success is, the acronym is ASK, A-S-K. It's attitude, skills, and knowledge. Most universities in the country today offer a lot of knowledge, which is what we call as Gyan, right? And therefore, we actually doze off, we go to sleep, we have low attention spans, our grasping power is limited. I met a lot of people and I asked them, hey, tell me about a concept in macroeconomics. And they say, oh, but Sahil sir, this I studied last semester, I don't remember. And I'm saying, when was last semester? And they said, only last month we gave our exams. And I said, wow, bhai sahab, like, mazedar hai, you know. So if you don't remember what you studied last semester and last month, let alone when you get a job 2 months later, what are you going to do and how are you going to remember and how are you going to crack the interview? It's going to be challenging. It's not going to be easy. All right. Second is, while all of that is to do with knowledge, fundamentally, the best people are hired and paid premium compensation for skills. Now, the question is, do you even know what skills you need to have to be a successful professional? And if you do not know that, catch your teachers, catch your placement team, and ask them this question. What are the skills that I need to be successful in the corporate world? And they may give you some random Gyanish answers to say, oh, analytical skills are important, you know, productivity hacks are important. And many times they will confuse knowledge with skills. Right? Skills. And let me ask you this question. What's the difference between knowledge and skill? Anyone can give me a very basic dunyadari daily life example. What's the difference between knowledge and skill?
Hello, sir.
Sorry. Bhuvnesh,
Hello.
go ahead.
Sir, knowledge is something that we know, and skills is something how we use that knowledge. How we use that knowledge in implementing that work.
Brilliant. So knowledge is know, skill is do. Very simple.
Yes.
Action is skill, right? Bhuvnesh knows how to swim, is knowledge. If I ask Bhuvnesh to go into the Arabian Sea with currents and he is able to swim without jellyfish biting him all over,
Yes, sir.
and
Fine.
coming back and not getting stuck in quicksand.
Yes, sir.
That means Bhuvnesh has the skill,
Skills. That's fine.
right?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
many times, ironically, if I ask you knowledge-based questions, you guys will struggle. If I ask you skill, you will struggle even more. And therefore, the question remains, how is it that each one of you can not only build a great repository of knowledge, but also the right skills, so that when you have the right skills, you are able to be very successful. Are you guys with me? Yes, no, maybe? All right, super. Now, you may have the right knowledge, you may have the right skill, but what if you have a pathetic attitude? Will people want to talk to you? Will people want to hang around with you? Will people want to chill with you? Then, yeah, there is a very mean guy. This guy is a gooseherd. No one wants to talk to this guy. No one wants to hang out with this guy. And therefore, you see a lot of people out there in industry who are very knowledgeable, very skillful, but have no friends. And they have no friends because people think they're very snobbish. People think, oh, this guy has too much of attitude, just stay away from him, right? And therefore, attitude is also something that you need to build and harness as you go about life. As you do your MBA, Sarthak, number one, ASK is the first mantra for you. Number two, the sooner you identify the gap between what you're studying and what you need to be successful in your job. There is a huge gap. What you're studying and what you need to be successful in your job. First step is to identify that gap. Second step is to start working to bridge that gap while you are doing your MBA. Very, very important. Because when companies come on campus and they interview you and you're able to demonstrate skills, that's when they're going to say, wow, brilliant student, I want to hire this person, right? And the third and most important thing I want to say is, it's very, very important whether you're doing a residential course or whether you're doing a non-residential course. During your MBA, please have fun. For all you know, this may be the last degree that you are doing as a formal education degree. And after this, you may not end up doing a PhD. You may not end up doing a full-time course. You may not end up doing another PG. And this is your last leg of formal education. Please, please, please have a lot of fun and build rock solid connections. You know why some of these business schools are so successful? They are so successful because people network so beautifully with their batch during these years that they take immense pride once they become an alum. And then the alum club becomes so strong because imagine the university is passing out such brilliant students that someone's a CEO somewhere, someone is a CXO somewhere, someone is a banker, someone is working with the government, someone is working with the Prime Minister's office. And they're all your batchmates. So आपने 2 साल इतनी मस्ती साथ में करी है that when you're stuck, you pick up the phone and say, hey, Kritika, I'm stuck. Can you help me? Apurva, I'm really feeling low today. Chal, let's go have a drink together. And that is the time when these kind of friendships will hold you together, will keep you connected in spite of being very successful in life. So Sarthak, 3 points as I told you, try and see if you can use them. Baki to padhai to hoti rahegi. You have the best of the faculty. They will teach you really well. You will, of course, get exposure to corporate speakers. You will have a great opportunity to do assignments. You will move out of your comfort zone. All of that is a given. That is BAU, business as usual. So I'm not worried about that. I think talking about work culture, Neeti, I think work culture is a very, very, very fuzzy topic. Because culture is anything that you don't understand, you call it culture, right? It's a very fuzzy word. I think culture to me is everyday behavior. Culture to me is everyday behavior. What behavior gets rewarded and what behavior gets punished is what you call as culture. There are many educational institutes across the country who have these big boards saying, ours is a tobacco-free campus. and it takes 30 seconds to walk into that campus and tell you where everything is there and what is available with whom and all of that. And then there are other colleges who don't talk about that, but know for a matter of fact that if we cross the line, our careers are ruined. And that is respect. And that is about culture. And that is about treating adults like adults. None of you all are children here. None of you all are below 18. You're all above 18. You're all adults. Now the question is, in an organization as well, if you hire the best people and then you teach them and tell them what to do, you're killing them. You're actually killing them. And therefore, how is it that you can start treating adults like adults? All right. I wanted to answer these two questions, and now I want to break into a video. I want to show you this beautiful 13-minute video that I grew up watching. And every time I had a moment that was not so good a moment, I would play this 13-minute video. And I would have watched this video at least 100 times, if not more, without exaggerating. For all the girls who are SRK fans and have watched TDLJ for over 200 times, 100 times, you can resonate with what I'm saying, right? Watch this video for 13 minutes. And then what I'm going to possibly do is have a conversation with you on saying a lot of questions that you asked me. What's the right path? How do you bring out the best version of yourself? How is it that you can actually gain experience? What are some of the challenges you faced, right? Give us tips about what domain. We wanted to understand how success happens. We wanted to understand about how is it that you apply your knowledge, right? All of this will get answered in this 13-minute video. All right. So everyone listen in. I'm going to try and get the sound also playing for you. It's a slightly old movie. I'm not taking you to the 60s or the 70s, so don't worry. Don't kill me for it. But it's a slightly old movie. I hope you guys have seen it. If you have seen it, sit back and enjoy. If you haven't seen it, anyways, see it for the first time and enjoy it. And it's right here. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how many of you all have seen the movie? Give me a yes on the chat. The title is right there. Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar. If you've all seen it, give me a yes on the chat. Okay, and tell me if you can hear the sound as well. You can hear the sound, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, enjoy the 13 minutes, 30 seconds.
राजपूत के शेखर ने शुरू से लीड ले ली है। उनके पीछे हैं देवेंद्र के रणधीर, काफी नजदीक आ गए हैं। शेखर गिरफ्तार और तेज हो गई है और वो जीत गए। शेखर मल्होत्रा जीत है। पिछले 2 साल से लगातार इंटर स्कूल चैंपियन राजपूत को पहली पोजीशन में लाने का जिम्मेदार शेखर मल्होत्रा। राजपूत पहले स्थान पे पहुंच गए हैं 230 पॉइंट के साथ। मॉडल दूसरे स्थान पे 225 पॉइंट, जबकि जेवियर तीसरे स्थान पे 215। और इस तरह इंटर स्कूल चैंपियनशिप का खिताब जीतने के लिए सारा दारोमदार है इस साइकिल रेस पर। शेखर मल्होत्रा के लिए ये रेस बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि अगर उन्होंने इस बार ये रेस जीत ली तो ये लगातार उनकी तीसरी जीत होगी, जो कि इंटर स्कूल चैंपियनशिप का एक नया रिकॉर्ड होगा। बहादुर खिलाड़ी निकल पड़े हैं अपने मंजिल की तरफ। 50 किलोमीटर की मैराथन साइकिल रेस स्टेडियम से काकरा जंक्शन, फिर 20 किलोमीटर बारामुल्ला की घाटियों से गुजरते हुए कोडाई कनाल के सबसे ऊंचे पॉइंट पिलर रॉक तक। शर्मा रिपोर्टिंग फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट चेक पोस्ट एट पाइकरा जंक्शन। साइकिलिस्ट यहां से गुजर रहे हैं। देखना है कि इनमें से कौन कौन बारामुल्ला की खतरनाक घाटियों को पार कर पाता है। Go, man, go!
संजू, संजू,
मैं राकेश शर्मा पिलर रॉक के चेकपोस्ट नंबर 2 से रिपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ और ये रेस के पहले साइकिलिस्ट पिलर रॉक तक पहुंच गए हैं। सबसे आगे है राजपूत के शेखर मल्होत्रा। और 5वीं पोजीशन में मॉडल कॉलेज के संजय राज शर्मा।
हरामजादे, अब तक तो रतन के वादे ने मुझे रोका हुआ था, लेकिन अब मैं तुझे नहीं छोड़ूंगा। आज तेरी वजह से मेरा भाई इस रेस में नहीं है। अब मैं देखता हूं कि तू ये रेस कैसे पूरी करता है। अबे जा पैजामा छाप, मैं भी देखता हूं तू मुझे कैसे रोकता है। तूने मेरे भाई को मारा था, ये ले रतन का जवाब। क्यों बे? मुझे रेस तक पहुंचने नहीं देगा तू, हाँ? ओ गॉड, ये लोग तो आगे निकल गए। शेखर तू जा, हम लोग इसको देख लेंगे। तू जा शेखर, तुम लोग इसको छोड़ना नहीं, ओके? क्यों है? You son of a bitch, I'll get you for this! साइकिल बाइकर के वहां पर पहुंच रहे हैं। पहले स्थान पर है जेवियर के रणधीर थापर, दूसरे पर लॉरेंस के नेविल, तीसरे पर एंड्रूज के अभय मानू और आठवें स्थान पर आई डोंट बिलीव इट, आठवें स्थान पर राजपूत के शेखर मल्होत्रा। नौवीं पोजीशन पर है पीटर के ब्रेंडन डिमेलो, 10वीं पर है एंड्रूज के राजेश परमार और 11वें स्थान पर है मॉडल के संजय लाल शर्मा। ये पहली पोजीशन में है जेवियर, दूसरे में लॉरेंस, तीसरे में एंड्रूज और अब आ गए हैं शेखर मल्होत्रा। जितना कर जेवियर ने 5 टाइम बोले हैं। और ये मॉडल के संजय लाल शर्मा। और ये पहले नाम से आ रहे हैं मॉडल के संजय लाल शर्मा। शेखर के नीरज कुमार को ओवरटेक करते हुए संजय 10वीं पोजीशन पे और शेखर 23वीं आगे बढ़ते हुए 5वीं पोजीशन पे। शेखर मल्होत्रा चल पड़े हैं दूसरे लैप के लिए। संजय लाल अब आ रहे हैं 7वीं पोजीशन पे। सातवीं और 8वीं नंबर के साइकिलिस्ट पूरी तरह से गिर पड़े हैं। शेखर मल्होत्रा पहले पोजीशन पे, संजय लाल शर्मा दूसरी पोजीशन पे। शेखर से नजदीक और नजदीक और ये तीसरे लाल की तरफ। बोला शेखर, बोला। और ये पांचवा और आखिरी है। ये जो क्या मंजूर, ये जो क्या। चैंपियनशिप 200 मीटर की दूरी पर
लाल जी, आज मैं भी मान गया, जो जीता वही सिकंदर।
All right. I think 13 minutes, 30 seconds. Many of you all would have seen this movie. Many of you all may be seeing it for the first time. While, of course, it's an old movie, I think there are a lot of lessons that one can really pick up from here that really talk about the way each one of us lives our lives. If you actually go back, and I'll try and share some of them from my side, and then maybe open it up for any questions that you guys have or anything that you would like to share that resonated with you or you believed was something that you really liked. The way the scene starts off is about Shekhar winning a previous event that happened before the cycling race, right? And the entire crowd was celebrating that. Now, when you come in from a victory standpoint and people are rooting for you, people are celebrating, whether you like it or not, it does two things. Number one, it boosts your self-confidence, it boosts your ego. And number two, everybody else who is waiting for that cycle race to start, it somewhere impacts them. Because psychologically, Shekhar has already started with a heads up. He's already started with that winning streak, like they call it. He's already started with the entire audience rooting for him. All right. Now, look at how the movie moves on from a winning streak. And we many times in the corporate world say, you're only as good as your last meeting. Yeah, the entire world has moved from VUCA to Bani to Tuna, and I'm sure you've heard all these management jargons of there is so much of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. The world has become brittle. The world has become incomprehensible. The world has become fragile, right? With the whole post-COVID world. But still, humans will remain human. Still, emotions will be more important than AI. Because while you may have a robo in China that gives you a hug, when a human actually gives you a hug, it can't be compared to a robo giving you a hug. They pan the camera from the audience, from Shekhar, directly onto Amir Khan, and his brother is helping him wear that helmet. It's not that Amir Khan can't wear that helmet, but his brother is helping him wear it. And very quickly, they talk about in the voiceover, if you heard carefully, the importance of the race. Because Shekhar has won this race twice. If he wins it the third time, he'll be breaking a new record. And then they span the camera to the father of Amir Khan, who's giving him a thumbs up. And Amir Khan looks into his eyes while he gets onto the bicycle. From there, they talk about the complexity of the race, how they're really moving uphill. And as they move uphill, you see the way people are cycling also reflects on muscles. It reflects on stamina. As each one of us as students, it's a great opportunity for you in these 2 years that you're doing your course to build stamina, which is intellectual stamina that will last you a lifetime. Of course, you will keep learning, you will keep growing, you will keep evolving, but this is your foundation. And therefore, how is it that you can use this foundation to really get a great lead in the race? Fast forward, look at what happens with the Rajputs, the Black Squad. There are 5 of them. The 4 of them say, go, Mac, go. And they're telling Shekhar, take the lead. You got to win the race. We will take care of all the politics, all the dynamics. Whether it is a student life, whether it's the corporate world, you will always have distractions. Now, the point is, can you yourself keep those distractions away, or do you need people to tell you the best stallion in a derby is the one who has perfect blinders? Because that horse exactly knows that he has to just run, gallop, 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 gallop. Not look here, not look there, not look which horse is coming next to him, nothing. Just go galloping like a mad horse so that he can win the race. And then you look at how the red team, the model college team behaves. They say, Sanju, don't go, don't go. So psychologically, they're telling him, don't take pangas, let those guys go when the camera spans onto those 4 or 5 model college guys. Look at now how strategy comes in, right? What is it that the Rajputs are doing? They are eliminating people from the race by kicking the other guys, kicking the other bicycles, dropping them down so they get bruised, they get hurt. It's no longer a game of stamina. It is about a game of disqualification. I have disqualified the guy by kicking him, by getting him out of the race. He falls down the cliff. His cycle breaks, his chain breaks. Even if the guy has the competence, he doesn't have the enablers that can make him or her successful. Strategy by the Rajputs. Look at how the 4 black guys from Rajputs go ahead. Shekhar is there. Sanju comes from behind. He tries going over that small hill and overtaking. And all they do is trap him in the chakra view. He tries to overtake, they block him. He tries to go from the left, they block him. The cut strategy is something that all of us can still manage because we'll find a counter strategy. But you know what hits the most? What hits the most is saying, Aja, Aja, Pajama, Aja, Aja, Aja. They start mocking him. And at that point in time, many people actually get hit at a very deep level, which is the level of self-confidence. It's not about the mind game anymore of saying, oh, I cut the bicycle, his speed went down. All that, the guy can still pick up speed, he can, but mentally, if you've lost the game, you eventually lost the final game. And what were they trying to do here? Not only mentally try and play with the guy, they were also emotionally playing with the guy. Because that word pajama, if you've seen the movie, has a lot of significance for this guy. And it goes back to the family. And therefore, they played that emotional card as well. A lot of distractors like we spoke about earlier. And now, after that entire fight happens and the guy says, hey, other cycles are going ahead, Shekhar, you go, we'll take care of him. What do the red guys start doing? The model college guys also start kicking the guys in black and say tit for tat. Not like they would anyway win the race. That was not the intent. By kicking them down, it's not that they were potential threats, but they still kicked them down to say, here, tit for tat. Now, they come back into the stadium and look at the voice that comes over. Change your gear, change your gear. Many a times, as we as students or corporate professionals grow in our leadership journeys, we don't change gears. We actually hit our level of incompetence because हमें इतना ही आता है और इतने में ही हम हमारे जो औजार हैं वो इतने ही हैं और फिर we are not able to play the big game. And therefore, the question is not about sharpening your axe. The question is about saying, are we in the Stone Age or are we in a nuclear age? And if we are in a nuclear age, how long are you going to keep that axe with you? Do you have what it takes to at least put the world at bar to say, I am a nuclear power? Changing gears is so important for all of us as we learn, as we do our higher education, as we upskill, as we do our jobs, as we get promoted. Because unless we don't change gears at the right time, Shekhar changed his gear. He was pedaling as fast as he could. In those 2-3 minutes, Sanju was actually building resistance. He was building resilience and saying, even though my gear is not changed, I will put full muscle because the moment I drop the gear and go to top gear, it'll become so smooth that in that last 400 meters, I will just fly. And therefore, it's not just about changing gears, sorry, it's also about knowing when to change the gear. You change it too soon, you change it too late, it won't work for you. It's all about the timing. And lastly, I want to share two things with you that resonated with me significantly from this video. Sorry, which I always carry with me. One is the moment Sanju wins the race, how is it that all of model college, all of the red guys, all the red t-shirts, the guys and the girls actually celebrate success? There are so many times each one of us do well. We've done something that we're proud of. But it's okay, let's move on. We have something else that keeps us busy, occupied. We don't celebrate success. And celebrating success at an emotional level is very important because we're all social human beings. And when we celebrate success, it just gets you, sorry, in that mojo. The second is, as Sanju is celebrating success and Model College is celebrating success, it's also about the Rajput coach who nods and says, yeah, maybe Shekhar didn't play as well. Maybe he didn't ride as well. Maybe he didn't give it this 100%. Maybe it was a previous phase, exhaustion, whatever. He didn't make it. It is also about accepting defeat gracefully. You know, we talk about the best sportsmen in the world. The best sportsmen in the world are the ones when on a good day, they win, they have the humility to say, it was just a good day, we played well. And on a bad day, they have the humbleness to accept defeat and say, we could have played better. We didn't play as well. And instead of saying, oh, the pitch was bad, it was raining, the ball was turning, the umpire took a wrong decision. You can say all of that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't give you grace. What gives you grace is to accept defeat gracefully. And finally, if you ask me, why did I show this video to you and why did I share these 10 tippanies with each one of you? The reason I did that is because in the end of the day, all said and done, Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar. I had a beautiful session with each one of you. Thank you so much for your time, for your attention. I'm happy to take any questions that you may have, but if you go back to the chat, all the questions that you've asked so far, I've tried to pick up a movie, I've tried to pick up scenes from that movie, and I've tried to give you my version and my interpretation of what it means to be a Sikandar. And then like they say, kabhi kabhi haar ke bhi jeetne wale ko bazigar. Thank you so much.
We have the question answer round now. So in case there are any questions, please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Akshay, please go ahead.
Hi, Akshay.
Akshay, your voice is very low. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's fine now.
Sahil, so can you also give some tips on entrepreneurship also?
Sure. I think, Akshay, entrepreneurship, to my mind, is about two things, which are very important apart from everything else, right? You have to have a great idea. You have to make the idea work. All that is great. But I think entrepreneurship is about courage and entrepreneurship is about risk-taking. If you don't have the courage to fail fast, learn, and move ahead, if you do not have the resilience to take risks, because as an entrepreneur, you're putting your own money or you're putting someone else's money, you're answerable for that money. You have an idea, you're trying to make the idea work. I think these two qualities, Akshay, are very, very important for entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurship. You have to have the courage, you have to believe in yourself. At times, the idea may work, at times it may take longer than what it should take to make it work. At times, it may not work. So how do you really wear it on your sleeve? Have the courage, have the resilience, have the race-taking ability, and be in that space where you not only believe in yourself, but more importantly, create value for that product or that service where people will say, wow, Akshay made something that solved a problem with a higher purpose that made a difference to people around him. Does that answer your
Thank you
question?
so much. Yeah. Thank you, Sahil.
Okay.
I have a question, if I may.
Please, sir, please go ahead.
Yeah. So you see, like, I think a wonderful talk and very interesting things that you have brought forward. And we talk about that perseverance. So how can the students build that perseverance? Because it's easy to talk about it, but I think at times the right approach is not visible. So how can one build that perseverance and resilience?
No, I think that's a brilliant point. I must say, I must tell you, it's such a brilliant point that you made for two reasons. Reason number one, when you go and watch a Chak De movie and you see that McDonald's scene, you get goosebumps, right? You go and watch Bajrangi Bhaijaan and you are a Salman fan, you're like super, super energetic. I'll do this for my country. I'll do that for my country. And then you come back and you're actually spitting pan out on the road. You're throwing a chingam out. You're behaving like a very uncouth citizen because India mein to sab chalta hai. And the same guys who go to Singapore are the guys who say, oh, I have to pay so many dollars because I'm, littered around, and they'll behave because Indians are price sensitive, right? So I think perseverance, to my mind, is to deal with dhonglapan. Perseverance, to my mind, is to find a space
Hello. I think there is some Dr. Roji, I think you are also.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I can hear you, but
yes, yes, he's back. He's back, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sahil, please.
Okay, lovely. So I'll repeat wherever you lost me. I'm saying ultimately perseverance is about dealing with dhonglapan. Perseverance is about dealing with being dhongi, right? Because eventually, if you make your word your world, that is when life changes. Many times we ourselves don't respect our own words. If we don't respect our own words, how can you expect someone else to respect your words? If you say something that you'll do it, come hell or heaven, you gotta do it. Otherwise, don't do it. And to build perseverance, at the end of the day, it's about consistency. It's about getting up every day and showing up. Some days will be good, some days will be bad. Some days you will do a 10K run early in the morning. Some days you will just not feel like getting out of bed and the weather is amazing and you're in your rajai and you're having a garam cup of chai. And in the evening, you'll just have a stroll and come back and say, "Yaar, man nahi kar raha bhagne." It's okay, but at least you showed up. You were not in bed the whole day. And when you do this day after day, after day, after day, after day, after day, trust me, 21 days, it becomes a habit. And while this may sound like a motivation talk, like a Chak De or a Bajrangi Bhaijaan, it doesn't matter, because eventually, if it's important for you, you will do it. If it's not, you will find excuses. And as human beings, we are brilliantly creative to find excuses. Aaj chacha mar gaya, kal mama mar gaya. We make all those excuses, right? So, I don't know, Kuldeep, whether that answers your question or not, but
beautifully answered. Beautifully answered, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. All right, anyone else? One last question, otherwise maybe we can return some time back to all of you.
Hello, Sahil.
Yeah,
One more question from me. So can you briefly share your success story from zero to hero, like in brief? All I want to listen that how you become that.
Okay, Saksha, your choice of words really made me smile. I don't think I'm a hero yet. And I think this hero
No, sir, you are.
No. That's so kind of you, Akshay. That's very nice of you. But I think three things have worked for me, right? If I may say, I'm still work in progress. And I always tell myself, when I've been very successful, when I've not been so successful, I always tell myself, and maybe I want to share this with you because this could possibly help you as well. Always call yourself that you are arriving and you haven't arrived. Because the moment you say you've arrived, that means तुमने दुनिया देख लिया, सब समझ लिया, तो फिर तुम Himalayas जाके बैठो and become a Shiv Bhakt, right? But if you're arriving, then it is continuous tense, which means you're work in progress. And I think that humbleness that comes with work in progress always tells you, and I'm going to take an example right here, right? So many hundreds of y'all on this Zoom call. I am very clear in my mind that all of you know at least one thing that I don't know, right? And just imagine, had I to talk to each one of you, I would get to learn at least one thing that I don't know. And I would walk away from this conversation so enriched and so much more learned and so much more intelligent because I learned so many hundred new things. Versus if I walk into this conversation saying, hey, you know what? You know, I've done HR, I know it all, I've been there, kaun sa project, kaun sa geography, tum to bacche ho, main tumse kya hi seekh paunga. You getting the difference? So I think mindset is one thing, Akshay, that has really helped. Second, the amount that I have learned with my failures, my success has not taught me that much. Because jab success hoti hai na, then tum ud rahe ho, tumhe like maza aa raha hai, yaar, sab log taali baja rahe hain. You're in an auditorium with 2,000 people, everybody's looking at you with awe, tumne bahut acha speech de diya. It's a very feel-good fact, and there's nothing wrong with it. As humans, you can enjoy that space. But jab ठोकर लगती है और तुम गिरते हो और लोग हंसते हैं ना तुम्हारे ऊपर, that's the time you got to really jump up the next day and say, okay, I had a bad day, I messed up, I screwed up, but I stood up faster than I fell. It's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy. I've seen people get into depression. I've seen people lose their self-confidence. I've seen people who said, yaar, mujhe zindagi nahi jeeni, koi mujhe pasand nahi karta, mere koi dost nahi hai. I've seen all of that, right? But eventually, how is it that you can convert your failures into learnings to make it your success? And trust me, this is just your story. Akshay, your story is very different from Kanupriya's story, from Kashish's story, from Dipali's story, or from Tamanna Gupta's story. Everyone is going to have a different story. And therefore, do not, and this is my request to you and to everybody on this call, do not try and copy someone's story. Write your own story because it is your life. And if you can do these three things, I wouldn't say that, you know, I'm like super successful, but if in your language, 0 to hero, I maybe try to get there one day, Akshay.
Thank you, Sahil. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Akshay, for the question.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, Ji, it's exactly 1 o'clock. Thank you so much for having me, Kuldeep Ji. Thank you, everybody, all the students, all the faculty members, or whoever's been on this call. Thank you so much for having me over.
Yeah, thank you, Sahil. I think huge takeaways from the talk. And I said, like, always wonderful listening to you. You come from different dimensions and you show a very different picture of the world and the thought process every time I've listened to you. I think a lot of takeaways right from the ask, the attitude, skills, and knowledge that we all should work on. What are the skills needed to be successful in the corporate is what everyone, each one of us, the students, have to look forward to. You also shared that we have to identify our gaps. And only identification will not work until unless we find it and we even feel it. Having fun, having solid connections, and building networks. I think 3 more takeaways for all the students in these 2 years of MBA that they do here at Chitkara University. Culture is everyday's behavior, and habits is what makes us successful. I think that's one takeaway. A beautiful clip, Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar, build intellectual stamina and take lead in the race. You shared that you will always, and we will always have distractions, but how we keep our focus, that's more important. Having a strategy and a self-confidence will be hit many, many, many times. Emotional and mental aspects will come into the picture, but rightly said, we do not fail when we refuse to give up. to be in the right gear and to change the gears at the right time. I think that's another very important and deep learning that we have. And to celebrate success and even to accept the defeat gracefully and humbly. I think that's a huge takeaway. And these are some important things that we actually miss thinking in life. JJW, as somebody rightly said, Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar in the end. Make your words your world. So do what you say. So, and even like do more than what you promise. And getting up every day and showing up, I think that's a major takeaway. And that's where the perseverance will come from. And I always say that you're arriving, be humble. We never stop learning. I think if we have that right attitude, things are going to be in our favor and we'll keep on rising and climbing the ladders. Learning from failures, embracing the failures. And in the end, you said, write your own story. Sahil, it's been always wonderful listening to you. I've been following your LinkedIn post, very in-depth. I think, again, you talk about things which the others at times are not even able to focus on. Thank you for spending time with all of us, our students. And we look forward to having you physically, personally, face-to-face in campus and to host you there in the campus. Thank you, Sahil. I know you're a busy man. We took time on your Sunday, but a huge takeaway.
No, there's no question, Kuldeep, you're being busy. I think it's all about priorities. If we decide to make something a priority, we find time for it. So thank you so much once again for having me over.
Pleasure having you.
If you guys want to stay in touch, feel free to follow. I'll be more than happy to be in touch with all of you.
Sure. Thank you, Sahil. And thank you, everyone. We are coming to the close. And thank you, Dilbag sir and team, which supported at the back end. I think we had a great day. And let's keep learning.